You need on-the-go convenience. Novex Smart Hub delivers. Pay your electric bills, view your energy use, report an outage, and receive alerts regarding your account. With Smart Hub, use your credit card with no processing fees. Level out your monthly electric bills by enrolling in budget billing through Smart Hub. Easily access it through Novex mobile app or at novec.com. You're on the go. Novex Smart Hub goes with you.
Life comes with a lot of decisions, and it can be hard to know the right path sometimes. A therapist can help you map out what you really want, so you trust yourself to make great choices and feel excited about the future. BetterHelp offers convenient professional online therapy on your schedule, however you want it, by phone, chat, or video call. Let therapy be your map with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/positive today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/positive.
Welcome back, everybody. Sports Daily, Al Brockton-Caster. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 coming to Boulevard Theaters in Wichita. You can check it out a day early, giving away a pair of tickets for a special screening tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, Boulevard Theaters at Town West. Let's give away a lot of these on the show today. Jad, we'll start right here with our first one. First caller, 869-1240. You can get your hands on a couple of those movie tickets. Go and see it on us. 869-1240, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. Good luck. Tommy, Big 12 Media Days underway for football. It's going to be moderately interesting, I think, at Big 12 Media Days. To me, the most interesting thing is not Kleiman, it's not Leipold, it's not, any individual team or anything. The most interesting thing is what we hear from Brett Yormark as the Pac-12 still without a deal and rumors swirling. How aggressive does he get in this, media scrum, essentially, with the positioning of his league?
I think he will be aggressive, and I think he will be vocal. And the only reason I say that is because that's what we've come to expect from Brett Yormark in his tenure as the commissioner of the Big 12. He has not shied away from being vocal about his desires, his expectations, and the way that he wants to see this conference grow. And I would argue that a big reason why the Big 12 is in the position they're in right now, growing, expanding, not shrinking, not, maybe even on the ropes like the Pac-12 is because Brett Yormark has been vocal and aggressive in what he's wanted to do. So I just don't think that that's going to change today. I think that Yormark will take the opportunity to, again, be vocal. And that the reporters there are going to ask him about that. That's why he's at the podium, right? I mean, he's going to talk about the conference as a whole, but you better believe the media is going to ask him about expansion, and Yormark has shown he's willing to be vocal about it.
Yeah, he has a great opportunity to continue to possess the ball in all of this.
Yep.
He is in the position where he doesn't have to play defense at the moment. It's just like he can sit and just be ready, right, for whatever happens, but say whatever he wants, basically. Like I don't think there's a lot of risk in it to say, yeah, we're interested in XYZ. Name drop the teams. Who cares? Like, we're in a good position. We're open for business. Maybe he can give us specifics. I don't know. I mean, I don't think there's anything really holding him back unless those places have requested that he doesn't do that. But there's nothing to be afraid of at this point if you're Brett Yormark. Nobody's coming after your teams, right? Like, you're driving here. What do you want this narrative to look like? And that's been the position of power for the Big 12 all along. Now, the tangible results of all of this are what? They've got their new TV deal, which is the biggest deal, right? They've opened, basketball facilities in, urban New York. They want games in Mexico. So it's all a lot of little things, but it's constant, right? It's a lot of constant chatter, which is cool. And so now you get into this point where, okay, what is the next tangible big thing that Brett Yormark can pull off? And I think expansion's about the only thing, right, on anybody's mind. I wonder what sort of opportunity he'll take here. Look, he could come up there and it could be a total non-starter. It just doesn't really fit his style, though, on what we've seen from him so far as the commissioner.
Yeah, that's really not been his MO. And I remember when he was hired as the commissioner, and it was after the tenure of Bob Bowlesby. He was the same guy that basically, went in front of politicians and said the Big 12 was going to die because of Texas and Oklahoma leaving the conference. And now Yormark has come in and done a complete 180 and is young and aggressive and hip and forward thinking and, willing to ruffle feathers, willing to think outside the box. I'm not sure that I, 100% agree with everything. Like, I don't know if I love the idea of games in Mexico because you're taking home games away from, some of the teams. I'm not sure I love that, but I understand why it's happening. And I understand what Brett Yormark is trying to do in making this conference a national and even international brand. So I get it. And so, but that's why he's in the role that he's in right now. That's why he's the commissioner of the Big 12. In a world of growth, expansion, contraction, all of that, you've got to stay one step ahead of the game. And I felt like from day one, Yormark has basically been, in my opinion, the only commissioner the Big 12 is the only conference that's playing chess while everybody else is playing checkers.
Well, the SEC and the Big Ten certainly are playing
well,
chess.
They get to do that because of the stature of their conferences, right? Like they can just go and grab Oklahoma and Texas and USC and UCLA. The Big 12 doesn't have that luxury, so Yormark's got to get creative.
Got to get creative. Sankey is as good as there is. That dude seems to me to be just brilliant and excellent at what he does. The Big Ten's had a little turnover in that role, but they've done a good job, right? They're one of the aggressors. To me, it's not even like it's so apparent what Yormark wants to do and is trying to do, and that is grow just the brand of the league as much as he can. So, appealing to a younger audience, getting international with it is all small things to eventually allow the lead to explode. I've said it a million times. I just don't think that there's a great understanding of the potential of this basketball league. That's where the international thing gets really interesting to me, because there's not really ever been and probably never will be like a secondary thing to the NFL. I mean, it's college football, right, as in totality. But I think that's because it's so far reaching. Like when you hear about the SEC and the Big Ten trying to create this new, I think that's a terrible idea because I don't think that's going to work. But getting international with basketball, and maybe it's okay with football, right? Like I don't know that you're ever going to all of a sudden have Mexico just be all in on the Big 12 brand, right? No, they're going to be all in on the NFL like the rest of the world. But in basketball, boy, you could really, like there is an opportunity in basketball, I think, to create the number 2 to the NBA. And yes, college basketball as a whole has that through March Madness, but in the regular season, I even think that opportunity is there because you're not really competing with anything. And I think that's where he's headed. I think he's trying to cast this wide net, really drive up the popularity of his basketball league, and then he'll separate basketball from football in a TV contract, and that's where the Big 12 will make money. That's not what he's going to talk about in these meetings. This will be about football, and that'll be about expansion, right? Football is where expansion comes in. I would imagine he gives us – I think he'll give us a couple nuggets. I do. I think he'll give us something to talk about before these league meetings are over with. For K-State and KU, I don't think, Tommy, that there's a whole lot that I'm just like, okay, like I can't wait to hear from these guys. I mean, I want to know for KU what the difference is now coming into this year versus last year, because the expectations are wildly, wildly different. That's intriguing to me, I think. For K-State, how much bulletin board material are they taking? I've read a lot of, like, what do we want to know about the Big 12 coming in and preseason polls? And man, Tommy, to save their lives, and it's the most ridiculous thing, every single year, nobody talks about K-State. Nobody talks about the team that won the league championship last year, that returns its quarterback and entire offensive line. they got voted second by the people that watch this league. Not that means anything, because if you go back and look at last year's poll, you can throw it right in the trash can. But just like this, when you talk nationally, K-State is almost never brought up. It's crazy.
I think that some of that has to do with just the demeanor of the program and the demeanor of the head coach and, the players for the most part. I mean, Chris Kleiman is, kind of an understated guy, has been. And, it's always easier, I think, for the media to look at a program the stature of Texas or the stature of Oklahoma, and really focus in their efforts there. And I think it's unfair to an extent, but also I think K-State should want it that way a little bit. Like, let them fly under the radar. Let them be able to go out and have the results on the field do the talking for them. It's a team that won the Big 12 championship, returns a ton of key pieces, and they've got an opportunity to go out and do it again. And so, that doesn't really bother me all that much, because like, if it were me, if I was in that program, I would say, you know what, that's fine. Like, that's going to fuel me. Like, that's going to motivate me. Let's go out and do the work, and we'll prove them wrong again.
Like, at some point, though, playing this underdog gets old, right? K-State has, brought in a great recruiting class. They consistently win. They're as consistent as any team in the league. And what your perception is nationally does matter to the program. Like, it matters in recruiting. It matters in all of these things. At some point, you don't want to be like this quiet little, it's not powerhouse isn't the right word, but like this great program that nobody ever knows about or talks about. You kind of want everybody to know and talk about you. Like that matters. And I don't know what that's going to take. It obviously, a Big 12 championship isn't enough. Maybe two of them would be. I don't know. But making the playoff, not showing up well against Alabama certainly did not help. Certainly did not help their case. But that's out there. I think, the other big thing as we look from a bird's eye view is the new teams coming in. And UCF's going to get the most attention. Gus Malzahn there. By most accounts, they have the most talented team of the new group. How much noise can they make? I would suspect probably more than we think that they can, but I can't wait to see that. I don't know what's going to happen. I guess hearing from those new teams at Media Days will be interesting. It'll be the first time they've gone through this. I would love to, hear a little shade thrown at Texas and Oklahoma. I'm sure that Mike Gundy will be good for a little bit of that, and hopefully a few others will be as well, like the don't let the door hit you in the butt on the way out kind of a deal, hopefully. But, yeah, it'll sort of be an us versus them with Texas and Oklahoma. But it was, is it as awkward as it was last year, in their lame duck year? Probably not. I would imagine last year was quite a bit more awkward with Texas and Oklahoma than this year will be. I think everybody's sort of over it. And it's just like, all right, we're ready to move on. 869-1240 is the number to call. Congratulations to Eugene for winning the Mission Impossible movie tickets. We're going to give away a lot more of those because today's the last day for us to give them away. Ken, by the way, jumps in and says, Alina Svitolina and Chris Eubanks say hello. I think that's a dig, maybe, like a backhanded dig that we're not talking about Wimbledon.
Yeah.
All I can say, Ken, is you're probably going to have to get that insight, that expertise on Wimbledon from another place. I got no issues with tennis, but we're probably not going to spend a whole lot of time on tennis here because we can't offer you very much from it. Wimbledon's happening, everybody.
That's
Chris
about
Eubanks
all I think I can say, too. Yeah.
Chris Eubanks is an American, which always has my interest. I'm not downplaying anything. When an American's in the mix, shout out to Coco, right? But when American's in the mix, I'm paying attention. We're just not going to offer you a lot of insight on it. So Wimbledon's happening, everybody. There you go. 869-1240 is the number to call. Let's give away some more Mission Impossible tickets as we go out here as well. See who's going to join Eugene at the sneak peek at Boulevard Town West Theaters. We'll give away another pair here. 869-1240 on the way out of this break. We'll be back with more on Sports Daily.
I'm joined by Hall of Famer John Smoltz. Smoltzy, tell me this. What's harder, winning a Cy Young or an Emmy Award?
Oh, man. Winning a Cy Young. It takes a lot longer to happen. You know, it's funny when you mention something like that. I just go back to all those years of being predicted to win and just feeling like a failure. But in 96, fortunately, I was able to at least get that off my back because that was starting to bother me.
Download the Brett Boone Podcast, available on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcast.
So, we've got a number 1 deluxe meal. Is there anything else I can get you?
Yeah, I'd also like a good night's sleep.
Excuse me, sir?
You know, the I didn't struggle all night with my uncomfortable CPAP mask, or something like the my wife didn't kick me out to sleep on the couch because of my constant tossing and turning.
Sir, we don't have anything like that here. I think what you're looking for is Inspire. It's an implant that works inside your body to treat sleep apnea without a CPAP. That way you can breathe normally and rest more soundly.
Come on! Oh, he sounds hangry. Inspire is the only FDA-approved sleep apnea treatment of its kind. It's helping tens of thousands of people finally get restful sleep. To learn more, visit InspireSleep.com. That's InspireSleep.com. Inspire, sleep apnea innovation. Inspire is not for everyone. Talk to your doctor to see if it's right for you and review important safety information at InspireSleep.com.